We have some very important guests with us today, and I want to recognize all of them. You will hear from all of them. U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Colorado Governor Jared Polis, and Denver Mayor Michael Johnston. We are so honored to have all of you here at this celebration today. Today is just a great day. It's a great day. It's a great Colorado day. We have some very, very exciting news. We're standing on the brand new Taxiway Echo. Brand new. And it was smooth coming through here too. Um, we are about safety first, and this project is all about safety. Safety and operational excellence are our biggest priorities always. And just to give you a little example of that, this is the third year in a row that Denver International Airport has passed the FAA annual certification, or the Part 139 inspection, the third year in a row with zero deficiencies. Zero. And I'm not aware actually of any other airport that can say that, actually. So this is a great thing, and it really is reflective of our great teams, our great safety teams, our great operations team as well. We are operating at one of the highest possible standards for operation and safety. This project you'll learn more about today addresses both of these things. Taxiway Echo addresses one of FAA's hot spots designated at the intersection of Taxiway Mike and Taxiway Echo Delta. This hot spot, nice. Love that effect right there. It's fantastic. This hotspot is a location on an airport movement area with a history or a potential risk of collision or runway incursion. And so this Taxiway Echo will help lessen that risk. We know how hard the FAA has been working to minimize potential collisions and runway incursions, and this project speaks to exactly that concern. I was talking to the Secretary a little bit earlier and talking about how, in terms of efficiency, this takes us from 770,000 operations annually to 850,000 operations annually. And so that is a 10% increase in our efficiencies. It also mitigates the need for aircraft to go around, these go-arounds. I think I was talking to our operations chief this morning. We had about 50 go-arounds where aircraft have to go all the way around, and it takes longer to get to the terminal. With this taxiway, it reduces that. It also provides a better option for air traffic control. It decreases the safety risk and increases systems efficiency. And now our traffic and air control can taxi towards runway 17 left for departure without delay or restriction. I want to thank the contractor, Flatiron. They brought this project in on time and within budget. I want to thank our operations chief, Steve Jakewith, our chief construction infrastructure officer, Jim Starling, and their teams, Brandon Gainey, Sarah Marquez, Bill Poole, Adam Chisholm, Britt Nichols, and Kimberly Watanabe, and many, many more who have made this happen. And then I want to thank the congressional delegation, our congressional delegation, for pursuing the FAA support and the funding. This particular project, the total cost was in the neighborhood of $53 million. FAA contribute 50 of that $53 million. So thank you, Mr. Secretary. We continue to invest in airfield improvements and runway 17 left. We took a look at the lighting, the runway lighting, where we were touring a few minutes ago. And that runway lighting was about a $41 million project, of which the FAA funded $30 million of that. And so all of these things make our airport very, very safe, and it takes every level of government working together for these projects to happen. And so now I want to introduce someone who understands the importance of projects like this, and love that. He understands projects like this and what it means to have a safe, efficient airport. Please help me welcome the Mayor of Denver, Mike Johnston.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all so much for being here. I am delighted by every distraction in the background, because that just means more visiting customers arriving in Denver with every plane, so that's great news. As you all know, we are delighted to be here at DEN, which is the largest job creator in the state of Colorado. There's more than 220,000 jobs that are created not only by the economic activity here, but by the surrounding impact. That's a transformational outcome for us. That's more than a $36 billion of total economic activity in the region and the state. And so we are always excited to see what we can do to both make sure that travel here is more efficient, is more effective, and is always safe. And so today represents a dual commitment to both of those priorities, to make sure we can get more people in and out of the airport, to make sure we can get people faster in and out of their gates, and to make sure we can get them safely in and out of the air. And so today is a historic step forward in that process, and we're delighted about the ways in which this got done. Yes, we employed more than 430 people here just on this project. More than 40% of the businesses that were represented in this project were disadvantaged small businesses, as part of our commitment and the federal government's commitment to make sure that these investments go with an eye towards equity and an eye towards justice in every one of our communities. So really delighted about the impact this will have on Denver and on the state of Colorado, both short-term and long-term. So grateful for the Secretary's support, grateful for Phil Washington's leadership. I want to go ahead and introduce our governor, who we're delighted to have out here. Hold on. Well, more paying customers arrive. We're delighted about that. But I want to introduce our governor, Jared Polis, grateful for his leadership both here and around the state, and making sure that we can develop a transportation system that makes it easy for visitors and for residents to get to and from work, living, and playing here in the great state of Colorado. Please welcome Jared Polis.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Johnston, and thank you, Secretary Buttigieg, for joining us. Of course, these improvements to Denver International Airport are important, not just for the city of Denver, but for the entire state of Colorado, as well as for the national freight and passenger infrastructure for the country. Colorado is a major hub for businesses, for tourism, for innovation, for research, and the airport is a key part of that success. What this means today, what we're opening with regards to the improvements in the runway, it means less delays and more safety. And that's first and foremost exciting for anyone who flies. If you're visiting your grandparents in Florida, if you're doing business in California, you experience the airport here, and we'll be able to deliver a product thanks to Phil Washington's leadership in this federal investment that will lead to less delays and more efficiency for passengers. We also celebrate the important investments made in airports around the state. There's historic funding that is making real improvements in almost every corner of our state. In Durango and Montrose, it's supporting expanded terminals and a better experience for travelers. In Canyon City and Grand Junction and Longmont airports, there's upgraded pavement around the facilities. Salida is funding new weather reporting equipment. The Loveland Fort Collins Airport is upgrading the pavement around their facilities. Leadville is building a new taxi lane with their funds. Trinidad is upgrading theirs as well. This is the hub of a network that's not only statewide but national. And of course, we're so excited to be a major hub for United Airlines, the operational headquarters and base of Frontier Airlines, a major destination for Southwest. And we appreciate all the other carriers that serve our market and invite them to make Denver a hub as well, especially with these new improvements, which will improve efficiency, decrease delays. Even improvements like the LED lighting, which we talked about, decrease the energy utilization of the airport, saving the airport funds on their monthly electricity bill, and making sure that DIA is part of the climate and clean air solution for the state of Colorado. This is exciting to be able to show that the action in Washington of the federal investment, the leadership of Secretary Buttigieg, makes a real life difference on the ground here in Colorado, not just in Denver, but across the entire state of Colorado. Communities across our state, including the marquee investment here in Denver, are making a major difference. We are fortunate as a state and as a nation to have a leader of Mayor Pete, Secretary Pete's caliber in Washington, D.C., heading up the Department of Transportation. Someone who knows what airports mean to local communities like ours, like Montrose, like Leadville, like Eagle, like Colorado Springs, like Loveland. Secretary Buttigieg has seen firsthand the importance of economic development, of linking people and networks for passengers and cargo across our country. Secretary Buttigieg has been a friend of ours in Colorado, and we are so thrilled to have him back here. And I'm happy to turn it over to the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And it's such a treat to be here. I want to thank Governor Polis. Thank you for your leadership. Having traveled to almost all of the states now since getting this job, you can really tell when there is a state government, legislators, and a governor in particular who understand the importance of infrastructure and put their money where their mouth is. And the commitments that this state has made to develop and enhance infrastructure help us to be a good partner on the federal side. And so we appreciate all the great work that you and your team are doing here, Governor. I want to thank and congratulate Mayor Johnston on having the most, when I was mayor, I firmly believed that at the time that mayor was the most on-the-ground, key, forward-leaning job in all of government. Now that I'm on the federal side, I believe that even more strongly because I see what America's mayors are doing. The job has only become more demanding since I proudly wore the title. Although I will say, back when I was mayor, I would have liked having a $1 trillion infrastructure initiative coming from Washington. So we aim to be a wind at your back in the many things you're trying to do for the people of Denver, and again, eager to see you and the city succeed. And it's always great to be with Phil Washington, someone who is, of course, well known around the Denver area, but I hope you know is one of the most well-known and widely respected leaders in transportation in the U.S. And we're thrilled to be celebrating good news, Phil, with you and with your team. So thanks for everything that you're doing. And I know we got so many airport staff, air traffic controllers, FAA personnel, and some of the workers who made this a reality joining us. We're excited to be with you. And I love the occasional sound effects here reminding us just how frequently this airport is being used, even just in this one runway. I see two more lining up, so I'll see if I can get them to punctuate my commentary. I can remember, I'm dating myself a little bit, even at my tender age, because I can remember being a teenager the day that the Today Show went live from the opening of Denver International Airport, that new American airport. And yet that was about 30 years ago. And now you can see that this airport needs investment, especially because the growth in demand here was beyond even the most optimistic projections at the time. And that's why these investments are so important when it comes to economic growth, when it comes to convenience, on-time performance, and especially when it comes to safety. It is a remarkable fact that air travel is the safest way to get around in this country, that a form of transportation that consists of getting into a metal tube with about 100 other people and being propelled miles above the surface of the ground is the safest way to get anywhere in the United States. It speaks to American ingenuity, and it speaks to a great deal of commitment and hard work over the years, and hard work that goes on every day. Work from people across the aviation sector, the pilots, flight attendants, engineers, designers, airports and airlines, air traffic controllers and TSA agents, and a lot of ordinary people who lost loved ones in crashes in the past and raised their voices to make sure no one had to experience what they did. In fact, it was about 25 years ago that the aviation community and the FAA set out to achieve something that at the time was viewed as a pie-in-the-sky kind of goal, which would be to bring about a day where there were no fatal crashes by U.S. airlines. That's actually been the case for more than a decade now. It's a phenomenal achievement. Millions and millions of safe arrivals. And we built the safest, most complex aviation system in the world, but we can't stop there. We can't take that track record for granted for a moment. As technology advances, as behaviors evolve, as air travel demand increases, our safety journey has to continue too. And fortunately,
thanks to the leadership of President Biden, we have a chance now to invest in better, safer infrastructure. And I also want to acknowledge the work of Senator Hickenlooper and Senator Bennett. Can't be here because they're attending to important work in Washington, of course, but I spoke with them. They shared their enthusiasm for this effort. We wouldn't be here without their support. Same for representatives like Representative DeGette and Neguse and Crow, who saw to it that we had the funding to get these generational investments done. And safety is one of the biggest things at stake in those generational investments. Just as a quarter century ago, we set out to eliminate commercial plane crashes, we are now on a journey to eliminate serious close calls, something that has happened on the order of a dozen times or more every year, more than most Americans realize, with more mistakes than usual taking place earlier this year with an uptick on runways, at gates, control towers, and on flight decks. And we need to look at every piece of the puzzle, from human factors and behavior to technology. And there was a lot of technology in the flight deck and the control tower designed to keep people safe. But often, the best technology is concrete, literally. When planes have to cross in front of an active runway to get to where they need to be, it adds risk. And that's why we were proud to provide $50 million to help fund the construction of this new and safer taxiway, and another $30 million helping to upgrade 2,300 LED lights so that aircraft can operate safely in all kinds of weather. And this is just one of 20 airports around the country where we are making these investments to make runways safer. And the funding isn't just about making it safer, our top priority, and making it easier to get around, which is our next top priority. It's also about the overall priority of this administration for our economy, which is creating new jobs both directly in the work that goes on at the airport, in construction, and all of the jobs that are supported by having a world-class airport like you have here at Denver. Whether it's small regional airports, rural airports like the facility, and just to give you a sense of the range in things that we're working on, Chamberlain, South Dakota, where a community of 2,500 people has an airport whose general aviation terminal is made out of a mobile home. And we funded them with a six-figure grant to turn that into a permanent building, all the way through to some of the largest, busiest airports in the world, like Denver International. We know that they are part of the economic lifeblood of the communities that surround them. They create good-paying jobs, they support families, and they keep our economy moving. And that's why this has been a priority for the Biden-Harris administration since day one. The president's Investing in America vision is all about setting up the American people for success. We are not just in transportation, but doing this across the board. We're replacing the lead pipes that too many communities live with to provide clean water. We're cleaning up legacy pollution. We're leading the way in a clean energy revolution that'll lower costs, bolster national security, and help fight climate change. And we're bringing advanced manufacturing jobs, making things like semiconductors, back to American soil. And now every week, shovels are hitting the ground on new infrastructure projects like the one we're marking today that will make our communities cleaner, more prosperous, and most importantly of all, safer. Colorado alone, so far we count 278 projects that we've been able to support with $4.6 billion in funding. That includes money for repairing bridges, making roads safer, improving transit, expanding access to EV chargers, and so much more. And your governor has not hesitated to remind me of some of the other projects that you are hoping to get done, and we look forward to working with you on many of those too. So I'm so proud, I'm so pleased to be here. We got a lot of good news to celebrate. Having said that, there we go. I would be remiss if I did not note that as we speak, some members of Congress are threatening to hold our progress hostage with threats of extreme cuts to programs that Americans rely on every day, including ones that help keep our transportation systems safe. And that has included measures that would cut the training of air traffic controllers, like the ones we count on here in Denver, who are the reason why flying is the safest way to get around. Obviously, the American people deserve better from Congress, and we urge them to come to their senses and keep the government running without savage cuts. Bottom line, whether we're talking about trains, planes, or automobiles, the mission of safety is the core of what we're doing at the DOT. It is a mission that every airport, airline, and aviation worker in this country shares, and I am proud that together we are continuing to do the work that is required to make the most complex mode of transportation we know of, also the safest. We're going to work to make sure it stays that way. So thank you again for joining us, and you've got a lot to celebrate here at Denver International Airport.